Lots has changed over 18 months. Young NBA players making significant leaps, former older stars regressing, others completely losing their minds. All the bad talk about the struggles, endless excuses, pointing fingers. At the end of the day, despicable actions by certain players can be tolerated as long as the team wins. Hothead Draymond Green, already out of control throughout the 2022 postseason, viewed the negative early parts of the finals before Steph Curry's legendary Game 4 performance, along with the hungry Andrew Wiggins, put Golden State over the top, ultimately shifted the momentum of the entire finals. Since then, Steph's fourth championship elevated his legacy, putting him in top 10 all-time conversations. The historical finals performance to prove his greatness, silencing all his critics about his lack of finals MVPs, winning that title in the right time before everything started to crumble, seeing how bad Golden State players been over the last 18 months, many starting to rethink how in the world did the team pull off that 2022 title. Could very well be the last championship the franchise sees for a very long time, not even 2 years since. We can only ask ourselves, what the heck happened to every player on that title team not named Steph Curry? Starting with Klay Thompson, soon to be 34 years old, best days way behind him, having a difficult time accepting his declining abilities in the NBA, where he's no longer elite in his position, super streaky from 3. You just simply don't know what you're gonna get. Still capable of scoring 30, hitting 8 threes a game, but when the shot's not falling, a huge liability on the floor, gets more riled up than normal, giving snarky press conference responses, not handling losing emotionally well. From all that success, winning many games with an all-time great team in his prime, now adversity has set in. GM Bob Myers made the healthy decision to move away from the franchise before anticipating the madness. Klay wasn't even the second best player on that 22 finals team. 17-point average Boston series, played just okay. Of course, there will be heavy backlash when he says he will become an all-star again, only to play like an absolute travesty Lakers series. Averaged 10.5 points, 25% from the field, last 4 games of the 23 playoffs. When his shooting ain't there, unplayable at times, but the ego believing he's still one of the best in the league, turned down 2 years $48. The upcoming free agent might not finish his career with Golden State, something unforeseeable even last year. Team paying him 2 years to rehab, way more than he could ask. Steve Kerr's offense heavily reliant on player movement and fast breaks to generate good shots. Klay simply can't move like that anymore, looking more like a bench player going forward. Draymond Green, Mr. Trouble Single, 4 years $100 million deal, back after a 12-game suspension, right after Chris Paul's injury. Even Golden State fans had enough of the despicable actions, making headlines these days mostly for non-basketball reasons. The team allowed his erratic behavior for years, gave him too many passes, claimed he wanted to retire, and trying to play victim when he's in fact the bully. It's January 12, still as many ejections as the Pistons have wins. Despite already being a Hall of Fame lock, Green at this point getting in trouble, doing everything he could to not get in the Hall. Still a solid contributor and defender, especially with the playmaking, but being a head case caused too much harm for his team already. Should be thanking good vets Iggy, David Lee, Andrew Bogut, and Sean Livingston in the past, but now he's the vet and one of the old faces of the team, can't handle his emotions. This season, way more of a detriment to his team. 3 years left on his deal. If he don't learn those lessons, could be out the NBA sooner than that. The choice is his. Andrew Wiggins, a huge disappointment since we saw the passiveness, lack of hunger when playing for the Timberwolves. His fallout, super surprising, 28 years old, supposed to be the second option going forward in the prime age for most players. Still young enough to turn it around, has the talent to average 20 a game playing good D, but emotionally checked from the team. Lost his main man Jordan Poole, simply content having 2 of 10 shooting nights, then forget about it the next minute. Wake up after a bad game just like it was a regular 9-to-5 job, getting paid. The most frustrating, inconsistent player, having that rib injury from last playoffs could still be in effect, not looking in the best of shape, doesn't even break a sweat, pretty much sleepwalks on the court. When the whole team energy down, Wiggins goes down with them. But when there's a chance at greatness and everybody's happy, his players will pump him up and motivate Wiggins to play hard. Just like in the finals, from the two-way excellence, locking up Tatum was basically the Scottie Pippen to Curry's Michael Jordan. From giving Luka trouble the previous series, the perfect glute guy, from never celebrating after a stop, never calls attention to himself, and simply just keeps working, then having the difficult 2023 year in his personal life, Steve Kerr moved him to the bench. It'll only discourage Wiggins more. In his mind, why put all the effort if he's in a mediocre situation anyway? The best option, find a trade for Wiggins. If he ends up on a team trying to compete for a title, might play hard and make an impact again, but until then, will most likely be traded sooner than later. Jordan Poole, the face of today's NBA memes. His full personality exposed the fame, early success, money and title made him think he's invincible, more like invincible in helping his team win. From 18.5 point average, was supposed to be the third Splash brother, mimics Steph's abilities, the talent's there, now simply cares more about posting a highlight than help his team win games. His mental state and present hasn't been the same after the Draymond punch, knowing he was about to get paid after winning the title. Despite having just an okay finals, acted entitled, rubbed teammates the wrong way, super inconsistent most of the 2023 playoffs, stopped learning afterwards, the type of guy who thinks he knows it all, but when teams already figured him out, doesn't adapt. Even worse numbers on Washington, can have a 30-point game showing all-star vibes, but also followed up by a 2-point stinker and looked like the worst guy on the court. Mr. Chuckmaster, one of the lowest b-ball IQs, non-existent on the most delusional confidence, no desire to care about adapting or brush up on the weaknesses, a good tank commander but stunts the development of younger players, a lose-lose type of guy on his way to becoming a generational meme. Otto Porter Jr., the injuries absolutely took a toll on the still 30-year-old. Golden State basically signed him to a huge bargain after playing just 42 games the previous 2 seasons combined. From overpaid max to vet minimum, the former dirt pig underachieved for his draft spot, but still solid. Irreplaceable loss, took his talents to Toronto for 2 years, 12.3 mil. Played just 8 games last season, already missed more than half the games year 2 of Toronto, still yet to record a double-digit game this season. 2022 simply an anomaly year. Golden State gave him all the time and freedom to recover from whatever was hurting, getting 63 games out of him. Whatever soreness he dealt with, got the extended breaks, literally played more back-to-backs in 14 days with the Raptors November of 2022 than his entire full season with Golden State. Team already mismanaged his health, just received his ring a week ago due to missed time. One of those players Golden State didn't truly know how much they will miss till he's gone. At 6'8", can rebound, always at the right spots at the right time. Dubs asking Dario Saric to play Otto's role with a much weaker bench than 2 years ago. Nobody will be surprised if Porter Jr. is out of the league next season if the injuries keep piling up. Kevon Looney, the oldest looking 27-year-old in the league. A 6'7" guy, 20 minutes, signed to a 3-year deal after the title, become a free agent 2025, is who he is at this point. Good energy hustle guy, not a lap dread or floor spacer due to Wiggins and Klay struggles. Looney not the type of guy to step up due to his lack of scoring. His best strengths, setting screens, play help defense, crash the glass as a glute guy. Sadly, none of that matters much if the rest of his team can't score outside of Steph. Also why Kerr's been playing him less, needing more scoring for Dario Saric. Looney the least of the team's problems. Damian Lee, solid regular season 20 minutes a game guy, 31-year-old, averaged 8.2 points for Phoenix last season, signed 2 years 5.3, underwent meniscus surgery on his right knee, still out indefinitely, not in the playoff rotation, already reached his ceiling as a role player, has a good floater but not a defender, can have an excellent 5-game stretch, then you'll forget he's totally on the team the next 7. Hit 44% of his trades last season, the guy that came off the bench for Devin Booker, Suns with the lack of depth, missing him badly this season. Gary Payton II, excellent energy guy, but given his activity plus small frame, out several weeks with a hamstring strain. 2 years left on his 3-year deal. Signed by Portland before team realized how badly they missed him, getting rid of the atrocious James Wiseman. GP having one of the most memorable role player runs 2022 postseason, 75% true shooting, originally a two-way guy who might or might not succeed in the league, but capitalizing as an underdog, undrafted, contagious energy, takes pride in his play, but when the bigger names getting paid like true stars not delivering, only so much a role player in Peyton's caliber can do. Andre Iguodala retired from the NBA after 2023, a successful 19-year career, was a great vet, now acting executive director of the Players Association, host of Point Forward podcast with former Sixers teammate Evan Turner, a deep in the bench guy for the title squad, plays similar to a Udonis Haslem role, the guy to support Wiggins, being one of the best all-around role players in his earlier title years. Wiggins absolutely missing somebody on the bench like an Iggy to keep him on check. Without him there to keep everybody accountable, Golden State's body language absolutely crumbling last season and a half. Nemanja Bjelica spent his final NBA season on top. The backup stretch 5, averaged 6 and 4, went to play in Turkey, dealt with a calf injury, released this past September, then signed in Serbia, but decided to retire from pro ball after reoccurring injuries. Now age 35, received his championship ring summer 2023, drawing a surprise appearance at Warriors Basketball Academy alongside former teammate Chris Chiozza. Also hasn't played in the league since winning the title, one of the last guys on the bench, 91 total NBA games in a 4-year span, now 28 years old, waived by the Nets, end of September 22, training camp, played for the G League Nets, signed in Spain for 2023. Juan Toscano-Anderson with the Sacramento Kings. After signing as a free agent with the Lakers, traded in the Westbrook package, 22 contests with Utah, didn't get signed this season till December 15, but waived 3 weeks later, now on a 10-day deal back with Sacramento. The 30-year-old's connection with Mike Brown under the Warriors' former coaching staff, looked upon as a leader with championship culture experience, seen as a good locker room guy, lacks NBA talent but has hustle, the type of guy who'll stand up for the team if anybody tries to bully his teammates. Jonathan Kuminga, now 21 years old, not a Steve Kerr guy, shown tons of upside and promise, but patience running thin, especially the Nuggets game, didn't play, taken out middle of the fourth quarter, only to see his team blow an 18-point lead, fanbase turning on their coach, head-scratching decisions, trade rumors getting spicier by the minute, was one of the last answers for the desperate struggling team to provide a spark. Kuminga absolutely losing faith in Coach Kerr, continue playing the old slow guys who can't play D. JK proven to be a top shelf athlete with good handles, but a terrible shooter, bad decision maker, most likely going to a bad team next. His tenure with Golden State not looking good now. Moses Moody, the former 14 pick, spends most of his time on the bench, 8.7 point average, 18 minutes, started a few games. Kerr absolutely don't trust him, rather watch his old guys get cooked. Despite the good energy and effort, his camp frustrated with the lack of playing time. Both him and Kuminga's happiest moments this year. The two likely talk a lot of smack privately together about Coach Kerr not playing them. Quinndary Weatherspoon, now age 27, waived October of 22, then waived by the Lakers, 42 total career games, presently in the G League with the South Bay Lakers. James Wiseman, an absolute travesty of a number 2 pick, still not comfortable in the league. Numbers of 6 and 4 for the stinky Pistons, just over 100 career games played, and atrocious 3 and 48 record with Detroit. How the hell is that even possible? Can't imagine anybody worse through 51 games, reminding us of Darko Miller shit vibes. MT stats as a rookie of 11 and 6 before big knee injuries. From barely playing in college, his high school hype already earned him over $30 million, even if he was never to play in the NBA going forward again. Struggling so poorly, even had a tough time dominating the G League. Golden State system too advanced for him. At least he played recently and dunked on his former team. Still took the L. Only age 22, blessed with the height and speed to get a free ticket to the NBA. Wiseman might honestly need to play in a weaker league to understand the game better before getting thrown in the NBA unaware of what's happening. The lack of development and understanding of the game. Despite his age, Wiseman's b-ball IQ 5 years behind him. One of Bob Myers' worst moments, taking the wasteful Wiseman. Number 2, had they drafted LaMelo or Halliburton, Golden State still be contending today. The big man still has no clue how to box out, set good screens, and pass the ball, can't adapt as a role player. If Detroit moves on from him, I could imagine Wiseman on Memphis as a backup big. Ranked 13 in minutes played for the worst team in modern NBA history, learned nothing from his mistakes. Might be approaching Anthony Bennett territory bad. Coach Kerr losing his reputation in locker room each day. The defensive philosophy is non-existent without Mike Brown, who led Sacramento to the playoffs last season. First time in franchise's 17 years. Kenny Atkinson remains as an assistant. Will the Dubs even be good enough to make the play-in this season? Your thoughts on the comments below. Steph Curry having absolutely no help. Good times cannot be taken for granted.